I want to say something to the Donald Trump supporters. A lot of you think I hate you. That's not at all true. I hate your accent, yes. But more importantly, you might sit there and you might think, well, he's just another Hillary guy, and then you leave right away. It's not about Hillary. It's not about Trump. It's not about really any politician. It's about our future. That's yours too. Look, if I didn't know what I knew, things that the general public may not know. I didn't know what I knew. I wouldn't be so against this guy. It's his actions. Now, most of you have women in your life. Whether he did or didn't do what is said. And personally, deep down, we all know he did it. You know it. You may not want to admit it. Because if you did admit it, then you couldn't justify voting for this man. But he did it. We all know he did it. And he knows he did it. But let's say for a minute he didn't do any of that stuff. The groping of the women, the assaults, the cutting down of so many of our fellow Americans. What if he didn't do any of that? Why would you want a man in there who brags about wanting and getting revenge? A man that would be in charge of sending your family off to war, possibly starting a nuclear war. You think I hate you, right? I think you're foolish. There's a difference. But you were a child once, right? Remember that? Did your mother or your dad allow you to put your hand in a fire? When you started to do it, or almost do it, they stopped you before you did it. Well, consider all my videos me attempting to stop you. Because this is the sad truth. If he does get in, you're going to regret it. I'm going to regret it. America, as a matter of fact, Donald Trump himself is going to regret it. And in that final analysis, when those final days come, if somehow he does get us into a nuclear war, and you're having your last few minutes of life, if we are lucky enough to even know, what are you going to say to your children and your loved ones? The problem with all of you shutting this off, thinking I'm extreme, is that you're acting like children. The 2-year-old that's trying, or 3 or 4 or 5-year-old that's trying to put their hand on a frying pan. Well, guess what? If your mother and your dad doesn't stop you, and you touch that frying pan, you're going to get hurt. If I don't speak out in the way that I have been, with personal and professional risk, we could all be dead. You can say what you want, but you can't change the facts. Now, let's pretend for a minute that he didn't do any of those things. Ask yourself about Ronald Reagan. He would not like this man. Ronald Reagan spoke to Gorbachev through the public airwaves, and he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," referring to the Berlin Wall. Donald Trump wants to bring walls up. Ronald Reagan would never vote for this man. Ronald Reagan loved every American. He didn't do policies that helped every American, but he loved America. But more importantly, this is where you should really be concerned about your life and mine and your families. Because let me tell you something. When George H.W. Bush is voting for Hillary Clinton, that's when you should be worried. You should be extremely worried that there's something inherently wrong with your candidate. You might say, well, why is that, Albert? You keep in mind, he was former CIA director. He was in the military. He knows things that the public does not know. I can assure you he's not voting for Clinton because he loves her policies. Oh, no, that's not it. I don't know if he likes her personally or not. That's not it either. He knows America's secrets. He knows things you don't know. He knows that, for example, let's pretend that there isn't any threat of nuclear war. There are other dangers that Trump cannot be allowed in that house. We have to ethically, peacefully, and legally keep him from it. Because when you have President Bush going against his own party, that's telling. You want to speak about unfit to lead this country? I don't have a personal vendetta against Trump at all. I just don't want to see all of us suffer. I imagine not one of you Trump supporters have listened to this old video. But if any of you are brave enough to actually watch this, tell you what I want you to do. Go look in the mirror. Then go look at your family. And ask yourself, do you want to be responsible possibly for every life on earth being gone? Just simply ask yourself a simple question. Do you want to be responsible? And I've used the God card. And I'll use it again. I'll tell you why. It's true if you're a person of faith, and the worst case scenario, we have a war and most people die, you're going to have to answer to God in the afterlife. I do too, but it won't be because of letting the planet go to pot. Now you can say what you want, but you and I both know, deep down, you know, I'm 100% right. So don't put your hand in the frying pan. And don't vote for a dangerous man that's going to get us all in bad shape. For once in your life, listen to someone you don't agree with normally. Because this is life and death, friends. Life and death.